Welcome to the Technical Difficulties podcast, where everything technical is made 130% more difficult.
Yes, and apparently it goes from 0 to 300 very quickly.
I've been sitting on that since I sat down.
Yeah, it's very funny. Well, hi guys, we're back. Hopefully we're not echoing, and you guys can hear us very well. We're still trying to work out a lot of the kinks and everything. Not to say the least, it was rushed. We just, this whole thing's not a mess. This place is a mess. Need to clean this up. But we're just trying to do the best we can with the knowledge that we have. And hopefully it will become better. That's the point. It's all progression.
Oh, obviously it will. We haven't had the camera turn off yet, so that's point one.
I do not know what happened last night.
I have no idea.
It had never happened in the testing we've been doing for months. It had never happened. It did not happen on Wednesday.
From the moment that you set it all up that first time, it all just straight in at once.
There was a latency,
I don't know.
but that was to be expected because it had been happening the whole time.
Yeah.
Wireless cameras that are hooking up through the the internet. Yeah. Because we have a separate internet inside the studio itself, it's too far away because of how it has to work. And so we aren't connected to the 5G. We're only connected to the regular, the 2.4, I'm pretty sure they call it, gigahertz.
No, I'm on 5G.
No, you are. None of this is.
Oh, the rest of this stuff.
Yes.
There's going to be latency anyway because of how how Twitch works.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been a learning curve. And I think we've just about got it. Whether or not something else comes up used to be expected.
We definitely do not have it.
No, we've got it. I'm gonna continue with that because if I keep saying it, it's gonna happen.
No. So, well, there was a big difference between, for instance, what happened on Wednesday, what happened on Friday. On Wednesday, as people kept saying that I would echo during when I would get louder and more excited about what was happening, and the music was not through the system itself.
Yeah, so we were playing it on a speaker in the back of the room.
Yeah.
So
and then it came to Friday, and for some reason I was always echoing, and I have no idea what happened. I'm pretty sure it's because of one of the new contents we'll be releasing on YouTube, probably starting today, actually. Which is called The Upkeep, which happens after the D&D session itself. It's an interview with one of the players about the session that happened. And that's just one of the things that we have to we're down one microphone. We have plenty. We have 5 in this building right now, but they all have their separate purposes and they do separate things.
And one's being shared, and well, these microphones don't like my voice. They just don't.
No, these ones love your voice now.
When it's set up perfectly, it does.
I feel like it's a little bit too close, but that's up to you because of the way I have it set up. But the other microphones, like the snowballs and the condensers and all that stuff, they're very particular. So
yeah.
These ones work out very well. So we need to get another one, which I'm pretty sure one of our players, Caitlin or Kat, she actually has one of them. So I'm just going to be probably asking her to borrow it until we get another one. And that way I can just set it up.
That way our setup will be more complete and we won't be having to move things around and slightly tweak levels depending on where it is, and having to do testing every single time we try and set something up.
Yeah. Well, as I'm pretty sure I've said this before, like this is a studio. It's a proper studio. It doesn't have like your regular doors. It has these big metal doors that you push open and you close. It's got multiple different areas. It has its own kitchen. It's got its own bathroom. It has its own workshop and its storage units. And then also it's got this big room where we're in now, where we try and fit everything in. And so a lot of things are everywhere at the moment because when I thought we were ready, we were, but not
as it
really.
turns out, we weren't.
Yeah, but I didn't want to hold it off any longer.
Yeah, we've been planning on getting the first episodes of that game out for 2 months at the very least, and it just got pushed back slightly.
So we've been playing and live streaming for about close to 3 years.
I mean, more when we were saying, okay, we've got everything, we're gonna start it up.
Yeah.
It's been at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
When we're like, okay, everything's done, everything's set up, and then something had happened, and we go, oh, all right, we got to fix this first. All right, and then something else had happened. Oh, we'll just fix that first.
Yeah.
It just pushed and pushed and pushed, and we've thought, you know what? There's no way that we're actually going to get this out if we want to make everything perfect first. Yeah. So you're going to get the technical difficulties in the middle of it. That's going to be our long form testing, is actually doing the games and doing the podcasts and making sure that everything's running throughout longer form videos rather than 10-second clips.
Yeah, and this has also just been a lot. I've been trying to do all this kind of by myself. I have 2 people that stream. One of them streams more regular than the other. They both kind of got slack during getting back into the workforce and all that stuff. And I wouldn't really mean it as slack, as in like a bad thing. They've just, their lives picked up. So they need to find that balance where they can do it. And they would try and help, but it's really hard, especially someone like me, where I have this definite vision in my head, and this is what I want. And they try everything to do it, but then they take the opposite steps to where I want to go.
Yeah.
And then I am very determined to actually end up getting it to where it needs to be. And I end up doing it in the end.
Bit of a perfectionist, and I think we've changed the settings on these microphones, I don't know, 30 times?
Yeah, well, little story is we did some test sessions, just, with their characters. It was just battles, not really any much roleplay, just to understand that, they understood their mechanics of the class they were playing, because they never played it before. And what would happen would be that we would be testing every night with the microphones.
Yeah.
Understanding that and trying to get the music to be heard and everything. And I was dumb and just didn't think that I could just get it through the computer and also through the speakers and try and get it all at once, which I ended up doing. And then, and with doing stuff like that at such short notice, I don't know if it's too loud or not. That's why when you guys would comment, it'd be fantastic, because I get to go, okay, this needs to change. And the one thing I'm changing and working on tonight is actually the echo, because the echo is solvable, because that microphone, the player microphone, will pick me up as well as my microphone, because it was also at the time trying to pick up the music from the speaker.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't need to. So now I can go back through that microphone and get it back to the settings as it once was.
Yeah. Basically, we just had to extend the range of what the microphone was picking up, and in order to get the range back to the speaker, it also had to come forward to the damn microphone.
Also the decibels and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go over that tonight. Hopefully Wednesday will be a lot better on the terms of the echoing and whatnot. I don't think it'll ever be perfect because of the environment we're in.
But also, there'll also just always be better microphones. There'll always be better setups that we can have. Like, it'll never be perfect, but it'll get to a point where we can.
Was it? The other night we were. Someone said that we were exactly like the early version of Critical Role, where they had the bad audio.
Critical Role vibes. Yeah. I enjoyed that comment. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was quite nice. So, but that's what I'm saying is that more or less, it is progression. But you guys will see the progression. Like, we're using a very old table that like my mother and I built many years ago now, just live stream this. And we actually have designs for a newer and bigger one. And that corner that you're seeing now, with the camera angles, you're not actually meant to see the door. But it's because I got sick and tired and fed up of always telling the players and moving the dates.
And we'll just wait for this, and we'll just wait for this, and we'll just wait for this. So we just...
And
we chucked it up there. Who cares? You can see the door.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. It just, if I kept doing that, then it just would have became a whole point of we're going to wait until it's perfect to go up live. And that means that's time, money, and just would have literally taken forever.
And also time of not playing D&D. And it was, what, 15 months? 16 months?
15.
15?
15 months since the last
time we played a campaign. So last night was my first time in 15 months playing an actual session of D&D that wasn't just a one-shot.
Yeah.
So was very, very, very excited about that once we just decided, fuck it, we're going.
Yeah. And it was my first time creating everything off the top of my head again.
Yeah.
Literally, that opening everything. Like, those names, I didn't make a name for the Lord.
Oh, lovely.
So I was like, okay.
That's why I couldn't remember the name.
No, you can remember the name of the town.
Not that either.
Oh, okay. So Xandri was the Lord.
Yeah.
And Morrick was the name of the town.
We spoke about it about 5 minutes before, like, as the stream starting soon was up on the computer, and then I just started talking shit as I do, and he looks at me, he's like, all right, so wait, where are we? I'm like, shit.
So I ended up because the only thing I had done for preparation in terms of being the DM for this was that we recorded ourselves doing not an interview, but the backstories. So it'd be me sitting and them sitting with books and everything like that, and all the maps and all that up, and we'd just be talking about why are you in this world, what is your purpose, who are your connections, all this stuff. And the reason why I recorded it is because once it's recorded, we can always go back and watch particular points, and we can always just it's not like a piece of paper where you lose it very quickly.
Or more than that as well, when you're writing something on a piece of paper, you don't have the conversational aspect of it where you can kind of just bounce ideas off of each other. You're just writing.
Yeah. And this is probably how the best way we're actually going to get into stuff. One of our players actually changed their class the night before Wednesday.
Yeah.
Before their session. And they changed it. And they hadn't been here for like 4 weeks almost. Because just heaps of things kept coming up. So they came here. They turned around and said, can I change my class? I said, you better know what you want to do. We're going to do this now. Jacob actually helped me with that one to just make sure it went fast forward. And it turned out to be way better for them.
And she didn't know what she was doing because she kept forgetting what sneak attack was.
Yes. Oh, no, she didn't. She did.
Yes, she did. So, funny story about that as well. She played a rogue in the last campaign, the one that this one is set after.
Yeah.
So, even better.
Yeah.
Has only played a rogue, forgot about the rogue's main
Yeah.
But that just comes with not having played in 15 months.
The funny thing is, because I have a rule that if you're going to play the same class, you can't play the same race or subclass.
Yeah.
You have to change it up. And it's really hard because she never really used her subclass in the last game. If there was a bog standard rogue list that didn't have a multi-class, but I just had a little bit of extra abilities, I would.
Yeah, quite literally. It was so she was playing an arcane trickster, but she was really playing a rogue that had access to Misty Step and Blink. That was it. Like it might as well have been a magic ring that gave her access to those spell string types a day. That's it.
That was legitimately it. It's unlike Jordan's character where he played a swashbuckler.
Yeah.
And on that one he used every ability.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think the only ability he never used was the make a charisma check against an opposing character.
Oh, was that so they had disadvantage on their...
Yeah.
Which
I think it's because it's a high level ability and he just kept forgetting that he had it.
Yeah.
That was all it was. Everything else he used.
So what we have coming up. So in terms of actual content we have coming up. And I feel like we've done this before, but we did it ages ago because we're like, oh, we'll start streaming eventually. And we moved into a studio, so let's do something about that. But no. So content coming up. We had decided to go live on Twitch rather than YouTube. And there's one main reason for that is because I had just had enough with doing everything to get this going and then going, oh no, I have to now transfer everything to YouTube. So I said, screw it. We're going to just be live on Twitch instead of YouTube. For the time being, we will eventually make that change and it will be heavily announced and we'll let you guys all know before it moves forward. But yeah, that was why we went live on Twitch. And this podcast will always be live on Twitch. I'm just getting it all the kinks worked out for it.
Yeah. On top of that, though, as well, the last thing that we were doing on the podcast was we were going through the book, we were talking about classes and subclasses, and we were detailing it all out.
We ended on Cleric, didn't we?
Yeah, we got up to Cleric. I think we got halfway through the base class because it's so long.
Yeah.
But those videos ended up being so long form and so monotonous, and almost the entire podcast was just us reading from the book. It wasn't us kind of conversing and being able to really put a ridiculous amount of input into what we're trying to say.
And the thing is too about that is the energy. We would sit there and read a book and then just go, wow.
What do I think of this?
Rehash of what I think about this. Was it good, crazy? Yeah. And so what we're actually going to do that, because we didn't finish the series, of course.
We'll probably be restarting and completing it.
But it will be in a YouTube format where it's a video, not a live stream or a podcast. Yeah. And that way we can cut out the boring bits, and stick to the actual class features themselves. Yeah. And where we can be as free with it, we can edit it so that way it just looks nice, and we can give our real opinions. And in those videos as well, we can have, because I thought about this the other day, we can have, for instance, a playlist that is the Cleric, and that Cleric playlist won't just be the beginning of like the subclass and stuff like that, but it will be on multi-classing it and what it becomes when you multi-class it.
And building characters with these classes and, on the spot builds of, we're going to sit here today and we're going to build a sorcerer.
Yeah, and it won't be a more or less let's build this. Here's the best stats you can pick for it, and here you go. No, we're going to be as creative as we can with it, and pretty much it would be like anyone who's ever watched, kind of just like Minecraft, when someone goes, okay, let's build something today, and they've got to build something, right?
Yeah,
that's us, but building from the ground up to a level 20. We talk about it. We discuss what is the best thing to be going into right now, multi-classing or not multi-classing, and we don't build the best version of the character. We build the most interesting version of them.
The most thematic for something that we're just particularly wanting to build.
And it's going to be like a challenge video where I'll just turn around to Jacob and I said, okay, today I want you to build a bard, but I would also like you to subclass into druid.
Yeah.
Make that work and make it interesting. And then Jacob will have the challenge of being there, creating this, and talking about it. And he might have one of the other players in on it that might sit next to him, and then they will converse and go, okay, and they'll do this. And the way I want to do this as well is not have it in the podcast form like we're doing now. It's actually to have it in a computer-based form where you're filling everything up in the computer.
Yeah.
And
that way we're also able to edit it. We can take away all the times where I'm going, yeah, all right, what about this? What about that? It'll just be the conclusions that we come to, or some of the more interesting parts of the conversation that we get to have.
Or if we
in the
have
middle of
Rob
it.
on the stream at any point.
Yeah, we'll just do the whole video.
Yeah, because he definitely throws out some things.
He just is entertaining.
Yeah. Let's see if someone's commented.
Shorter, more engaging videos. Yeah, basically that's what we're planning for those. Just because they are more structured in the fact that you've got to go through the written content.
Yeah.
I could do a podcast going through the whole book. I could literally sit here and read through the entire thing, every class, every subclass, but I'm just reading it to you.
Yeah, but at that point, you're literally just audiobook.
Absolutely. But that's the point. So, like, if we can make it more interesting, more engaging, and be able to cut bits and pieces here and there so that we're not just waffling about the words that are printed on the book without actually giving any input, then it's going to just make the video better in general.
Exactly. And what we want to do is actually, because it's really hard with a lot of the content we're doing, we're actually not conversing with anybody part of the chat. Like, the players do try. I'm too busy behind the screen controlling 5 different things with my stream deck and trying to make sure everything's going out, which that's what we want to do. We want to try and get to a place where someone else will sit behind the screen and be able to interact with people, will be able to control the stream. Where they will make sure that cameras are live, that mics are live,
the battlefield cameras are being switched to
whatever
to show the best view of what's going on.
Because what was it? We have 3 battlefield cameras, and the thing was that on Wednesday. Thank you.
It's all right. We would have gotten there eventually.
Middle of the week. 2 of them one of them died and one of them wasn't connecting, and I'm like, great. So we've only got the one. At least it was an okay camera angle, which was fine for what it was. But that sucked. And then on Friday, 2 of them were on, and the best camera angle for what was happening during that fight with Kashmir and the drunken dudes was actually the one that just for some reason wasn't connected. And I'm like, okay, so that's why I quickly got up and started connecting it, and then it came on because I think it was Dylan who said that you need to change the camera angle, and I go, okay. So, and then I went to do it.
So a couple of us behind, at the table, we've got our spell lists up on our phones. We've got the stream up so that we can just kind of vaguely monitor it. And he noticed with what he was seeing that you weren't able to actually understand what was going on. Yeah. So it just made it a little bit easier that we can sort of monitor it from multiple different angles, and people can just kind of bring it up. Or there's people watching the chat so that if we're being too quiet, or if, the music's just spiked because it's going through the computer, we don't hear it extremely loudly anymore. If it's spiked, we wouldn't know. So we're able to just kind of deal with all of that a little bit easier, and we take the strain off of Blake, who's already trying to run an entire game, an entire world.
Yeah, and with the lighting issues, actually, that is due to because this is improvised. So when we came up with the fact of the lighting and the proper way of having the lighting, it was tailored to the new table that we were actually designing.
Yeah.
That's the way we went. With the way we're doing it now, the table that we're using is not ideal at all for what we are doing.
So we've kind of stepped backwards on what we can have with lighting at this point without sending everything into a spiral and having us going, well, you know what, it's not perfect, we're not going to do it. And going back to that kind of a...
because
mentality.
That was my mentality for a long time, and I kind of just had calmed down. Right? And with the battlefield lighting as well, that isn't permanent because the way I've designed it and the lights that I actually got for it all interfere with all the other cameras and lights. Actually,
Yeah.
if they're too bright and stuff, it makes someone literally glow gold, or have them be pale white, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that. So I have to either put it on the lowest setting it can be because it's right near everything, and that's not the way it was actually designed to.
Yeah.
Because there are about 7 cameras on when we are streaming, and and it's always being all the mics, everything. I'm trying the best, except for the DM one, obviously. Trying to keep them out of sight.
Yeah, because like it doesn't make a very nice aesthetic where you can just see each camera in each other camera.
Exactly.
They're trying to hide it all for production value reasons, but because it's all hidden, it can only be in certain spots. And with the table at the size and shape that it is, it's really, really hard to get that. So we've had to make a couple of adjustments just to make sure that we're not going too far back.
Yeah.
But we're still giving something that looks like it's had some thought put into it. Cloning guard isn't a bad thing last time I checked. It is when you're on camera and you can't see anything on the person. We've actually done that, and it was like...
Oh, you talking...
When everything went white and you looked like you didn't have any facial features.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, so it's not like it gives them a glow. Just the whole camera glows itself, and it makes the picture just disappear.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like when someone gets someone's recording.
Well, it's almost like if I did this.
Yeah.
And now you can't see me.
So that's the biggest problem we had coming up, and I've done a makeshift way to kind of make it work, but it's just the best I can get for right this second. Yeah. And during the midst of this, I started a new job as well. So I now have my nights back. It's crazy. It's still getting used to it. So I'd wake up at 6:30 in the morning, go to work, and then come home and then get this all sorted, and then we start going until like midnight and then do the same thing, which isn't tough at all, but it's just for the fact that I'm still getting used to the fact that I have my nights.
Getting used to the new schedule.
Yeah, and which is great. The new schedule actually is fantastic. I'm not working today. Usually every other podcast we've done, I start work at 5. Yeah. So that's why we have to quickly rush it. Today is going to be kind of a quick one because this guy's going to Mayday Parade. So I got to go and pick up the missus from work so that we can rush out to the city. Yeah. But yeah, so normally it's not going to be quite so rushed though. Yeah. We're going to have the ability to take our time with it. But that also leads to the next thing, is that we will no longer be doing this podcast on Saturdays. Yes. We found the best timing for us, because if we do it, back in the day, I used to run 3 D&D groups at the same time. And it used to be Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah. I'd do it Friday night and then do it Saturday morning. And they were really accommodating. The Saturday group was really accommodating to me, trying to make sure, I was up and, they gave me time. They were very patient. Sometimes I'd get to my house and I'd be asleep still. Yeah. And I'd be like, oh God, I'm not ready for this. But it still went forward. And they were very accommodating to me for that. And you brought up the fact that, how about instead of doing something similar where, we play until like 11 and then I go to bed after having the week, getting up and getting all this sorted. Said, why don't we move it so that way there's spaces between days? Yeah. Which is, we will actually be moving it from Saturday to Monday nights. So everything will be basically starting up at the same time, the podcast and both of the game streams. Yeah. It gives us a little bit of normalcy in that we're not going to, have 2 things starting overnight and one over mid-afternoon. And it also means that we get a bit of a break between each thing that we film, because we've already been in the position where we've played so much D&D so often that this guy didn't get any sleep for 2 weeks. I'd finished work, they'd pick me up, we'd play D. then I'd go to home, wake up, go to work. They pick me up, we play D&D again, and that's literally what.
And it was 5 days
and
a week.
I said, nah, you know what? It was 7 days for 1 week. It was
for 1 week. It was 7 days.
And
but,
I said, nah, you know what? We're doing 1 day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot do this, and that was fair enough. And that's how we kept playing every week.
Yeah.
And that's now what we're doing now with a formulated start. So Monday, not Monday. So
Monday's podcast.
Monday
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, I've got a whole schedule written out that I just need to print and put on the wall and just remember, oh, that's what I'm doing today.
Yeah, it's over there. Just don't try to think about it.
Yeah. So on Monday nights, what was the time we had organized? Was it 8?
7 or 8?
Yeah,
it was one of the
8.
two. It was somewhere around the actual start times for the streams.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it is. I think it is a little bit earlier, whether it's an hour and a half or an hour.
It is 8.
It's 8.
And we're going to run the podcast. The time frame. So it starts at 8, but it's going to finish whenever we feel like it is enough. For the
Yes.
night. Wherever we feel like it goes, okay, we've done a lot of what we've been talking about, and we're kind of hitting that ball. So we're going to end it here before it comes to dull, awkward silence, and we can't figure out something else.
Yeah. Or if we just for whatever reason end up on a really short topic, we can end it after 45 minutes.
And
and it just gives us that freedom to just be able to speak until we don't have anything left to speak about, so that we can try and keep it engaging for everyone.
Yeah, and the last podcast formula we were doing wasn't scripted. It was not scripted at all.
It wasn't scripted, but we had a topic.
Yeah, it was a topic. And we're still going to kind of keep a topic. We're going to be going on about, like, what do you want to talk about today? And then this. But we're not going to have books that we're reading from.
Yeah.
Like, we're still going to have the books in front of us just in case we go, oh, wait, and then pick it up and then think about something. And, yep, put it down. But that's what it is. And, you know, it could be something I know we're just like, hey, let's talk about this rule today and how you can either tweak it to make the game a little bit more fun, or maybe they might like it the way it is. And what is another way you could complement the rule without changing the full rule?
And more than likely, it's going to be things that come up during sessions.
Yeah.
When we've been playing a bunch of homebrew rules at the moment, and it's things that we've not actually started using yet, like being able to use the bonus action spells if neither spell requires somatic components. We've not actually 100% tested that out yet. In conversing about it, we've decided that it makes a lot of sense that if a spell literally requires you to say an incantation, you should be able to say that incantation.
Yeah, because if it says it's a bonus
easily,
action,
like it's
bonus
not
action is generally the thing that is mundane.
exactly.
Action.
So if I'm not having to draw all these sigils and stuff in the air, and I can just say,
because healing word's a bonus action.
protect me, and cast Guardian of Faith.
Yeah, it's
a verbal only, and you just get this big freaking celestial being come out and stand by you. It makes a lot of sense to be able to do that as a bonus action.
And we've had a lot of counter arguments as well during all this with our actual other players, where they said, then there's no point, you just might as well keep playing a spellcaster. And the point is that if you're casting 2 spells a turn, your action economy in turn 10 disappears.
Yes.
You have almost nothing left.
Yeah. And there are ways that it can be sort of broken, but we're not making the rule to break it.
Yeah.
We're making the rule to make things make a little bit more sense to us,
and a bit
not
more
necessarily to everyone.
for the people watching as well.
Yeah, because it allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't be watching someone do in these games. Everyone that runs a D&D game homebrews to some degree.
Yeah,
even if it's just
I think
how do you do your death saving throws?
One of the best things that when people talk about if they homebrew or not, one of the easiest ways to decide if they do homebrew is if they can't figure out a rule because they conflict.
Yes,
homebrewing is the DM going, this is what we're going to do. This is my decision.
Yeah,
and they try and find a compromise, which is fine.
Yeah,
and I don't think homebrew's too bad. We've kind of strayed away from as much as we used to homebrew.
Yes.
We do follow a lot of what just the books do. And
it keeps things in check.
Yeah,
Or when we find things that we're like, this would be really cool like this, and not really cool broken, I can do this ungodly powerful thing.
Yeah.
Like, this would just be sweet, and I'd like to do it for flavor reasons.
Yeah.
We allow it.
What was it where Addie asked last night to use her? No, it was Rob asked to use reaction on Wednesday. To like make an attack, and I said, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it would be in the moment. It happened. It'd be funny, and that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fine. You know?
It just gives a little bit more agency to players to be able to.
Yeah, I wanted those Noel's quick as dead, so my voice could just relax.
So you didn't have to keep yelping.
Oh,
but like
3 nat ones.
Yeah. But like even things like when Maddie took the axe and took the butt of the axe and hit the guy in the nuts, like, sure, there's a reason that you could come up with that should just be able to, like, in the head and he'd fall over, go prone.
But we didn't kept to the axe.
At the point that we were in the combat, we knew that the NPCs weren't winning that combat. So there was no point in doing it.
100% just could have. They weren't using any weapons.
Yeah,
for one.
She would have soloed them. 100%.
They had 1 strength.
Yep.
And they do 1 damage plus their strength.
Yes.
That's literally how it works.
Yeah.
And so.
And that's raw.
They were doing. Yeah. That's the natural rule on unarmed strike if you do not have the actual
martial
unarmed
arts,
strike. Yeah.
which is monks.
So. They were doing 2 damage. And that was it. And that's because that's what they were doing. I easily could have just had them pull out like axes and crossbows, made it a lethal fight, but that's not what it was meant to be. They're in a town. It was civil. So well, not civil.
It was drunks.
Yes, they were drunks.
The drunks aren't going to pull out a great sword and try and smack in the head. They're going to pull out a great sword and drop it because they're stumbling.
After one of them got knocked out, he wasn't like the leader or anything. He just got knocked out. And then 2 people, the 2 others are like, all right, well, you just hurt our friend. We're going to get you now. And then one got kicked in the inappropriate area, and then it was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna leave.
And
the other one was too drunk to understand what was going on.
Yeah,
he just saw like he saw Zephyr pointing, like saying leave, and he just went,
makes sense. I'll hit like this.
But it doesn't make any connection from someone pointing to doing this. That's how drunk he was.
Yes.
So
and it was for comedic effect. Like
that's all
there was no way that those NPCs were getting anywhere in that fight.
Yeah, and you couldn't take it seriously anymore.
No.
So that's why I didn't try and make it
exactly.
serious.
And it gave a reason for us as the players to come together, which nearly ruined
not
the.
Exactly. I don't think you're fully together. Maddie had to be bribed.
Maddie had to be bribed. I 100% set up that ready to action for. If she decided that she wanted to keep being aggressive, and I was gonna put her down. I was gonna do it.
But yes, and it was just something very small and simple. So we divvied off topic.
Oh, that is 100% one of the things that we're planning on doing. Storytime podcasts, talking about old stories from the old campaign.
Actually,
100% that's something we're going to be doing.
I actually want to get in contact with everybody that used to be part of this as well to talk about it. So people, because there used to be multiple different groups. There used to be a different version of Friday group a long time ago, and that had like 3 different variations, and then there was a Saturday group. I do want to like get everyone back.
I used to be part of Wednesday group. So this is actually my first time playing with Jacob and Dylan in like a long form campaign with the 2 of them. But Maddie was part of Wednesday group at one point as well. So I've got experience playing this game with her, but not so much with the other 2.
Yeah, but
we mesh because we're friends outside of D&D.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So, and what I want to do as well, there's heaps of things coming up. So, well, the things we have is we have the actual live stream itself of each game. Then after we have an interview with one of the players about the game that currently just happened. And I ask them a series of questions, they answer, and we talk back and forth about it. It's just like a 10-minute video, if that. And that will be edited, and they will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Then we have our podcast, which we do here on Twitch, and then after it's done, will be uploaded to YouTube as well on a select day. I'm just trying to work out the scheduling days to upload things.
Yeah.
Then we have the editing video, the video about classes that we spoke about. That we're going to get done as well. Unfortunately, we won't have one for this week because you're on a Mayday grade, so we don't have the time after this to start recording.
Normally, we probably would have done it once we finish this podcast.
Yeah, and then
or like on the Monday when we finish the podcast, we'll just have a chat about something else on camera. It won't be streamed, but it'll be recorded so we can edit it later.
Yeah, and then there's another. Then we'll have the whole Major Blazers live stream of video games variations where you can watch them and have fun with them as well. And then what we'll have for D&D is where I teach people how to build certain things that I've built before, and then also 3D printing and stuff. We've got multiple 3D printers and show them what settings we use for what we're doing. And then we also have rules and updates and the way that we think something should work out, but that's more of like a podcast thing anyway. So I'll probably just combine with this. And then we'll have the backstories.
Yes, building videos. He's got that planned for a long time. Pretty much as long as we've been planning on streaming the game.
And then we have another lot where it's the actual backstories of the characters, where it's going to be flipbook style, so that way when you click it, you watch and listen, and they'll be the ones talking about, like in like a short not like a Dr. Zeus story where it's going to rhyme, but it would be like
I have a bard coming up. It might
like a children's book where you go keep reading. And then what else do we have? We also have the infomercial skits that we've just been talking a lot about. And then we also will have board game nights where we're trying to figure all that stuff out. Then we're going to have...
If I can convince them to start playing Magic again, we'll do that on camera.
And then we have the the vlogs and stuff like that for everything coming up. Then we've also got the TikToks, and we've got the Instagrams.
We've just got a mess of content that we're sitting on, and we've just got to do it now.
Yeah, because the moment we went live on Wednesday was the first launch day of everything.
Yeah. So the podcast before then, realistically, it was all testing.
It was testing for more or less for us to get in front of a camera.
It was testing, and it was getting us in front of the camera, and it was just... We wanted to do something through lockdown, and it just kind of extended a little bit past there. It's gonna take off from this point because we've started the campaign. Now that we're playing the campaign, we can't get out from behind the camera because we are going to be playing this every single week.
I do want to preface something. So the D&D for Wednesday and Friday, they both start at 8:30. The reason why Friday did not start on at 5:30 and started at 9:30 was
Didn't start at 8:30?
8:30.
Not 5:30.
Yeah, didn't start at 8:30.
I was still getting home from work at 5:30.
Was because we had a technical difficulty, but not with this, just with the schedules of other players, and they wouldn't be here until 9. So that's why it started later, and that's why it was a shorter session. They were all 2 hours in roughness. The only reason the other one seemed longer because it had a longer title screen of when it was like starting soon. But they were all roughly about 2 hours. And the thing was that
they were both introduction sessions anyway.
Yeah. So we are going to go to a format where it'll be about an hour on, half an hour off, and then an hour on again, where the half an hour is like a little break for everyone. It's like, I want to go quickly cook food. And... I haven't eaten yet. Go make something quick to eat.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, and it allows them to get up quickly, just relax. So we're gonna try and get better at doing that. It's just because as the DM and the person that controls the stream, I just get lost in the story we're playing and forgetting that people.
Oh, I think we all do. Like it's gonna be something that we're all gonna have to start looking at. And just kind of giving a sly hint over to someone else and leave.
What I plan on doing is grabbing a second phone and chucking on an alarm.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be getting better as we go. But now that we've started officially, it's not gonna stop.
So weird to hear that we started officially.
It is very weird, but It's the reality of it. We were doing all of this to just because we wanted to start quicker, and we figured, if we're going to be doing this podcast and we're going to be putting out content where we're having to be in front of a camera and we're having to get the microphones right, we're having to get the lighting right, then we're going to just go, okay, turn that around, put it in front of the table and start playing.
Yeah.
So it really was us trying to push ourselves to start.
Yeah. And we did push ourselves to start. And now we're at a point we need to keep running.
We do.
We crossed, the gun's gone off. We need to keep running. And we'll keep moving. So, yes, right now, you guys, and we thought it'd be nice, actually, because we spoke about it. When I started DMing, I started with a Coke screen as my DM screen. So I got a Coke box and I cut it up and made a DM. Well, everyone else loves talking about it.
It's great, but I love hearing you tell this story because you always tell it slightly differently.
And the players were trying to get a grasp of everything. So I literally just got pieces of paper and I drew what was there.
Yeah.
And the way we worked out the movement for the squares was actually just using a ruler, because every 1 inch is 5 foot movement. That's if you measure a D&D square on anything, or even the base of them, they're an inch by an inch.
An inch by an inch, yeah.
Yeah, so that way you could just use one of those metal rulers that have the inches on the side. And so that's what we did. So I draw the piece of paper, I grabbed some minis from a friend, and he had a little bit, so I borrowed a little bit. We played for about 13 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, we played for 13 hours. I knew the rules of a different version of the game, which is called 3.5. But we were playing 5th Ed.
I think you started with 3.5.
I started playing 3.5. I started DMing 5th edition. And then we started to get better and having more fun, and things started progressively growing. I made something I'm going to show people how to make as well, as I made a board that is dry erasable, but it's a grid. It's a box that also holds all the minis and all that stuff. And it was literally just made out of like cardboard, paper, the book wrapping that you did for like your school books.
Contact. Clear contact.
Yeah, clear contact. And that way people can just grab dry erase markers from like Woolworths or Kmart.
I'm right here.
Draw on it. So, that's what that was. And I'm going to show people how to just randomly build that. Because if you're on a budget, and that's what we are, we're budget kings about this stuff.
It doesn't look like it, but everything that's on that table.
Like it.
Oh, it doesn't. Everything that's on that table looks like it's been made with some sort of a building material. It's all foam. You built it from foam.
I did.
Everything. I think the trees aren't foam.
No, I didn't build those.
Yeah, you didn't build them.
No, Caitlin did. She built them out of clay.
But every part of it, the tiles, the buildings, it's all foam.
Yeah.
It's light as all hell. It looks like it's actually been sculpted, but it's just...
Yeah. And we have 2 different printers. We have a resin printer and we have a PLA printer. Have served for different purposes. One says I'm not working at the moment. The other one says I'll print you miniatures.
Yeah,
so that's currently how we're going with that. So I need to figure out and dry out. I think because it might have been from the raining season, made it
expanded.
No, just absorbed too much moisture. So yeah, and I said, and the point of the story that I was talking about is that I was saying to myself, look, the players appreciated everything that we got up to, from where we were to where we are now. When I first started building with foam, I was using styrofoam.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It looked kind of cool for the time being because you actually just had these 3D on the table.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to the better stuff, and it just turned out way it's a lot nicer to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same theory in terms of people watching, is that what if we just show where we are now? This is where we are right now. And let the players and let the people watching at home watch the progression that we are doing. The new table is massive, by the way. It's way bigger than our current.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's 3 times the size of that. And that will also help with the microphone issues as well.
It'll also help with me not being yelled at because I've got my shit too far down the table.
Correct.
That was during the intermission. I think the microphones were off for that one.
Yes, it was. It was actually... no, I think it wasn't.
Oh, really?
It wasn't
Amazing.
I thought it was,
but...
everything, and I'm like, Jake...
Amazing.
Because we have, like, the zone where we're allowed to put stuff. It just helps us with it all.
I definitely had stuff there.
And, but yeah, so... We're going to build along with everyone, and every comment you guys give us will actually help us understand what you need to watch this and what you need to make a better experience for you guys in terms of like the quality, the lighting, the sound, like the audio and
everything.
For it.
Whatever you notice that's a little bit grating or a little bit, let us know. We're learning as we go. And the more feedback we get, the more we can actually put that to use.
Yes, that is 100% true, and that's just the way it's going to be. Yeah. If you guys keep telling us, we are listening. That's the point. We are listening. That's why it kind of kills me. That's why I never once said to you guys, put down your phone. I'm usually really, really anal about people being on their phones, but I knew that if they were on their phones, they could connect and talk to everybody that was on the stream.
We weren't sitting on our phones going through Facebook. We were talking to everyone in the comments and trying to put forward the concerns that people were having, the things that were going wrong. And I mean, I was watching the Wednesday stream, and when the microphones went off for that, it was I actually texted him. And so he saw it come up in his little drop down because he can't watch the comments by himself. No. There's too much going on.
It's way too much going on. And when you texted me, it was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
The one time I was looking down at my stream deck to get ready to change something. And I was like, oh. And then I just click a button to return on the player mic. That's why they were only being half heard through mine, because mine's super sensitive to pick me up, but it won't really pick up anyone else. And then theirs, because of the way that it's been set up with their noise gates and the suppressions and stuff like that to pick up the music, that's why it picked me up. But now we're going to change that because we don't need the music anymore.
Yeah.
To be picked up through that mic. We just need you guys to be able to hear the music. It's like the music playing now. We can hear that music.
But it's very quiet.
Very quiet.
We're sitting here in almost silence.
Yeah.
That's why we keep speaking.
Yeah. But we also do understand that it is very loud on your end. It's a lot louder than it is to us. And
we need to figure out that difference so that we can set our levels properly.
Yeah.
And then once it's all set, it should be fine to just leave.
Yeah, as far as I know, because I'm literally looking at the system now, and every time you talk, you want to kind of be in the yellow. And I kind of hit that. I kind of go a little bit above, and I believe it's because a couple of the settings that I have on right now. But because Jacob is so close, he's going to sound like this, and it's going to be right in the red. And through a lot of things with the decibels, sometimes you don't want to be in that red.
Yeah.
You don't always hit it.
Oh, no. When I get a little bit louder, I am a very loud person. I just watch it do it as I turn my head. It does pick it up a whole lot more, but having the microphone here is currently the best way to get the best quality out of my voice because they don't like me. Yeah. They just don't like me. We're figuring it out. We'll make it happen.
It's because you have a deep, prominent voice. That's the thing. For instance, like the intro sequence is actually you speaking. And
slowed down 20%?
No, it's slowed down 0.2.
0.2?
Yeah. So like 2%.
2%. Oh, yeah. I thought you said 20%.
No, I just said that for a rough gauge. If you went from like one
rough gauge, 20% or 2% people.
Yeah, I just basically it's fine. There's a lot of things I don't even fully understand yet. Whenever I find out something new that I want to do, I 100% go into it, and I edit and I try and find everything I can do, and I do it. Yeah. And I had your voice, and it was very different. You started to sound like Stewie Griffin, Emperor Palpatine in just like
It
one
just
motion.
went weird. I think I recorded that intro 8-9 times. I was like, nah, I don't like it. Nah, I don't like it. So I did it really quickly as we were trying to leave to go. We had stuff planned with friends, and we're trying to leave, and we had people outside waiting for us to leave. All right, did it really quickly, and there were a few things that came out a little bit weird. So slowing it down just made it all more consistent.
I'm going to say this because partners are not going to watch this, but she was getting very annoyed by the looks of it.
Oh, yes.
She just wanted to leave. She's like, I haven't eaten or anything like that. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, well, technically we had this planned before even Jordan set up for us to go over.
Yeah.
So like, this is the priority to me, not Jordan's. We will get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
But the thing is, you decided to come.
Yeah.
So you had to sit with us and try and do it instead of just stay home for a little bit, because actually to pick up her would have been on.
Yeah.
So, which was fine. It was lovely seeing her.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just the fact of they were just sitting.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
And it's like, I don't think you understand how important this is right now, because we go live very soon.
We go live in about 4 days.
But I went through the next day and I played around with, not effects, I played around with a lot of audio editing in terms of just getting rid of suppression and getting rid of white noise in the background and doing all that. And then I was with Lachlan, which is one of our old players who stays in contact with us very regularly. And he said that there's something missing. His voice just doesn't sound right properly. And I was like, okay. So I went, I toned down your voice a little bit, a couple of decibels. And you could hear it. Because your voice is already prominent, that when you changed it, it started making it sound like the big bad guy.
Yeah.
As like some people called you sounded like Mufasa off the
I've heard Mufasa, I've heard Smaug.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll take it.
So I changed
Even if I have to have my decibels brought down for it.
Instead of changing it, I said, well, wait a minute. This is the same effect if I just actually slowed it down. So I listened to the music, and the music is very like doom and gloom. But the moment you slowed it down, it took it to a whole nother level. And I said, okay. So I did more editing. I got to that, and I was like, sweet. People are loving it. People enjoy that introduction, which is great, because that's literally built off nothing. Yeah. It's literally built off nothing. It is not okay, I've got this. No, I sat there in front of the computer with a blank screen and said, I'm going to give myself 18 hours to make this thing.
Wasn't it mostly on MS Paint or something?
3D
Paint.
3D Paint.
Mostly on 3D Paint.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I went through 5 different things, and I'm like, okay, I have no script for this. I don't understand how particularly I want this to exist and show. But then I went through, and I started doing that, and I started making it layer by layer by layer, which is very difficult, because my partner loves me, and it's great.
Yeah.
But it's also very difficult, because it's when I have so much pressure in my head, and she just wants affection. I love that, but it's just that it was so important to me.
The door opens every 12 minutes.
Not 12 minutes. It was like she gave me my space, which was great. But it's also, I'd come inside, say like good night, or she'd message me to go do something, and it's like I'm literally in the middle of doing something. Please, I just need to get this done. Once this is done, you can have me. That way I don't have to keep having this pressure in the back of my head saying it's not done. It's not finished. It's like, that's why I never leave a miniature really unpainted. Your miniature that I painted was the only one I really left half painted, was because I know this isn't going to work. I'm going to hate myself if I do it.
I need something
I'm going to go out and buy it and then come back. So I did that.
Yeah.
And now your miniature looks fantastic. That's great.
So good.
And yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's that covers everything. So let's recap everything. So that way, if anyone is watching now or anyone's watching through it all, and we just got lost in conversation, let's talk.
We did. It's 4:15.
Yeah. So, 1. If you miss anything on our Twitch, we will be uploading it to YouTube. I'm just figuring out the actual schedule dates, and then it'll be uploaded to that. We have daily content that will start uploading throughout this week. 2, our podcast is changing its days. It's not going to be Saturday at 2 o'clock or whenever he gets here. It'll be at 8 o'clock on Monday nights.
Yep.
And then 3, our D&Ds happen on Wednesday and Friday, and it starts at 8:30 p.m. and it will go on until about 11:30.
Yep.
11 UK. And then get ready for all our content. Make sure you guys keep messaging, because we thoroughly do read them, and we go back after the episode, and I go back after the episode and I do read the comments and make sure that I can work out everything I can just to make a better experience for you guys. Alrighty. Do you have anything you want to say?
Look, thanks for being here with us throughout it. Expect the 300% increase in
content.
In content. Wowzers. Let's go.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thank you, and we'll catch you not this Monday, because this is technically the last Saturday one, so we'll move to next Monday. So not the Monday coming, the Monday after. Alrighty. And yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming to join us, and we'll catch you next time.